Hey everyone, it's Matt Reay from Denon DJ here at the DJ shop in Southampton, and I'm here with the brand new Prime 4. So let's check it out. So here we are with the Denon DJ Prime 4, the world's first 4-channel standalone DJ system. At the heart of the Prime 4 is our 10-inch multi-touch, multi-gesture screen. But also with the Prime 4, we've implemented some fantastic key matching and key syncing features. The Prime 4 serves as a fantastic introduction to the Prime ecosystem, but also we've implemented some great features for mobile DJs. So let's start with the screen. As I mentioned before, we have our multi-touch, multi-gesture, which means I can pinch and zoom waveforms. But if I go to my library view here, you can see we can page down and go through my crates, playlists, my repair panel, my root folder, and my QWERTY search. Now searching has been refined somewhat on the Prime 4, it's now even more powerful. So as you can see, we can search through genre, artist, album, BPM, and key. If I focus on BPM and round it down to 80 BPM, you'll see now we have a sort by column here. And from this we can then refine even more through title, BPM, artist, key, rating, length, year, date added, genre, and comment. Very powerful searching options available. A brand new feature for the Prime 4 is the real-time playlist management. If I'm in a crate or playlist, I can simply tap the edit icon at the top, and I can either create a brand new crate, let's call this DJ shop, and I can highlight individual tracks or multiples, hold down, and then batch export to brand new crate. This can also be done with playlists as well. If I go to my playlist icon and hit my edit tool, I can batch export multiple tracks, or I can create a brand new playlist or a playlist folder. If we hold down the menu, we're greeted with our utility, preferences, source, and record. For our utility, these are all our go-to settings for the Prime 4. Anything that is changed on here can be saved to your stick, as well as anything you change in the preferences. Also brand new for the Prime 4 is our record feature. If I tap record, you can see I can record directly to the stick that I'm playing tracks off, or to a different destination. So let's tap this Prime 1 stick here, and we can start recording. We can also pause the recording anytime and resume, stop, and then we're greeted with the save as icon, and then we can tap our session, and that is then saved as a WAV folder and creates a brand new sessions folder in your Engine Prime directory. Also a great additional feature to the record mode is microphones. If we're using this in a wedding environment or corporate event and we're running all of our microphones through microphone 1 and 2, any audio passing through the microphones will be captured on our recording. The recording is then saved in sessions folder in your Engine Prime directory. Obviously this is great for when syncing up to videographer footage later on. Media connectivity on the Prime 4 is handled via the 2 USB ports at the top of the unit, but also an SD card slot. And also at the rear of the unit, we have 2 additional USB inputs. The very rear USB port is actually specifically designed for charging any iOS or tablet device. And obviously this is a great feature, so you don't have to go looking around for a power supply in the booth, or even replace power supplies while you're setting up. In addition to our USB ports and our SD card slot, we also have a built-in SATA docking drive. Currently on this unit, I'm running a 1TB SSD drive. So I can switch to my internal drive here, and now I can page through my crates and playlists on my internal SSD. One of the great things about the SATA connectivity is that once a drive is installed, it can be formatted directly from the Prime 4. And also tracks can be continually added via plugging in a USB cable to your laptop. This means your media is in situ, and you don't have to worry about losing USB sticks or SD cards. For the best performance, we recommend FAT32 or exFAT formats. Also for the mobile DJs, we have our StageLink protocol. Together with our software partners SoundSwitch, Resolume, and Timecode, we can run via our Cat5 cable to any of these 3 lighting packages. So lighting mapping is completely user definable, as the whole unit is MIDI mappable over USB. Again, another fantastic feature for mobile DJs is our brand new Zone Out feature. This allows us to play a separate playlist to an entirely different location. And it's a real simple process. We just hit Zone Out, and and we're greeted with this icon here, and we tap continue, and you'll see deck 4, we now have a command for selecting a crate or playlist. So if we now go to our library and hit our playlists, and we will go to our zone playlist here and tap send to zone, you'll see now my playlist will play in sequential order. So if I hit deck 4 and the play button, the audio is now running to a completely separate location via XLR outputs at the back. So management of the zone out audio is handled via a dedicated level, low EQ and high EQ from the top of the unit. So as we mentioned before, the Prime 4 inherits all of the great features of the SC5000 and the SC5000M, utilising our quad-core processor. The first of which is our class-leading non-destructive key lock technology. So that's running the pitch range at +20, so now let's take it up to +50. So as you can hear there's no artifacts in the track, and all the bass elements and the vocal elements are still retained. So obviously this feature is great for open format DJs when shifting between multiple genres and tempos. As well as our key lock functionality, with the Prime 4 we now have real-time key shifting. And that's achieved by simply tapping the key at the bottom of the waveform, and you'll see another box appears at the top of the waveform. Here we can shift keys non-destructively in real time. Finally, we have our real-time key syncing, and this is achieved by holding down the key lock on the opposing deck of the playing track for 2 seconds. To access our mixer settings, we simply hold down Menu, tap Utility, and we're greeted with all of our go-to settings, such as mic talk over level, microphone attenuation, EQ type, and filter resonance. With our 4 super effects, we have our filter, echo, wash, and noise. With our 2 effects banks, they are switchable between banks 1 and 2 on each of our channel strips. Paging through the effects, we have echo, delay, hall echo, ping pong, auto gate, flanger, filter LFO, phaser, bit crush, roll, reverse roll, beat break, scratch, and reverb. As you can see, with each effect, all of our values are displayed on our beautiful OLED displays here. And all of our time-based effects are post-fader. A really great rhythmic effect is our beat break. And what beat break does is it ducks and comps per each quarter note. Like all of our time-based effects, this is sweepable as well. So as you can hear there, when I sweep down the frequencies, it creates a great pulse underneath the track, which is really cool for transitions and breakdowns. We also have different beat break patterns available, and I'll cycle through those now. Prime 4 has 4 performance modes for our pad banks. We have our hot cues, which can be inserted at random or prepped in Engine Prime ahead of time. We can simply delete those cue points on the fly as well. Loop mode, we have our standard manual loop. These are then saved as save loops, but also with auto loop, we have our latching loops. Our roll feature, we have our green pads representing quarter notes and our purple pads representing triplet fields. Of course, when combined together, this is a great tension and release feel. With Slicer, we have 2 options. Our slice mode, which follows along per beat of the track. Each slice can then be divided further using our parameter knobs. With Loop Slicer, this holds the track in a single 8-beat loop, which is also great for when you're wanting to experiment with breakdowns or drum loops. So no matter how much I slice the track around, the track will be retained in the same loop. Looping the tracks by the encoder is very simple. We simply hit our loop encoder and adjust the parameter using the dial. Let's say I want to move that loop bracket around in real time. I simply hit the loop, hold shift, and the loop bracket then moves around the track. Using our Engine Prime desktop software, we can import tracks and playlists from iTunes, Serato, and as of our recent 1.2 update for Reay 5000s, this can now be your track to playlist imported on a USB stick. This means we can approach the Prime 4 using a USB stick prepped from Rekordbox and have all our playlists and cue points retained. When a track is loaded, it analyses on the fly, and this can take 10 to 15 seconds depending on length. So I can simply swipe to load the track into deck 3, and you'll see the waveform will start to build. Now while the track is analysing, we can still play and run the track off. And once the waveform is finished building, we'll then be greeted with our BPM, beat grid, and key information. So you can see that the track has been analysed and the beat grid is matched. So when analysing old music such as old funk, breaks or disco, to do this simply hold edit grid and we'll be greeted with our edit settings at the top of the waveform. Not only can we use the touchscreen to edit the grid, we can also move the jog wheel, but also move it in real time. Once a beat grid has been adjusted, we simply hit edit grid and that is then saved to the USB stick. When tracks are analysed, this is a one-time only process. So when you return to the unit with your stick, this means your track will still be analysed and will not need to be re-imported into the Prime 4. So in addition to our superior sound fidelity and rugged build quality, we also ship with a Denon DJ screen protector, which simply goes over the touchscreen like this. This will protect the touchscreen in transit. So there you go, there's a look at some of the amazing features of the Denon DJ Prime 4. And don't forget, the Prime 4 will be available online or in store at the DJ shop.